mean, I think it's quite good that Routledge are exploring this kind of content, because they're sort of an academic publication, and I've not held back on talking about consciousness and healing in what I've written in the chapter, and I hope they accept it. It's not published yet, but it is contracted to them, so it will be published in some form, though I don't exactly know what. And I'll read it on the basis of that it is forthcoming and therefore not signed off yet by Routledge. It's still in work in progress, but I'd love to read some of it to you. So, Beyond Music Workshops, a composer and a community. And a quote from Nadia Boulanger, who is a composer, was a composer and a teacher, and she was born in 1887 and she died in 1979. And it says, "Music can never be more or less than who you are as a human being." So, in my second year in 1982 as a music composition student, I suddenly had a very surprising experience. I was suffering from acute anxiety when, to my amazement, one day, something in me profoundly shifted, opening up perceptions of reality beyond my wildest imaginings. I had had what I think was a spiritual awakening. It was the beginning of a lifelong inquiry into consciousness through meditation, chanting, books, teachings, Tai Chi, yoga, and of course, music. I continued on my path as a musician, and perhaps inevitably, over the years, the two subjects, music and consciousness, have overlapped. So I'm just going to jump now. I'm going to jump right into the section which in a way picks up from what Nessie has been talking about in the first section of the workshop, about working with resistance and moving through resistance with your voice. So this just jumps in as part of the description of the workshop in vocal Tai Chi. So here we go. As edges are met. So this vocal Tai Chi, I should just say, works with people in a group, and then after the tea break we work one-to-one with the microphone. So you get to do what I'm doing and use that backing track that you heard and other tracks. So you step up in front of the group and you sing solo from nothing. And this is what happens. As edges are met, the soloist goes deeper, allowing new material to be voiced. The importance of a witnessing workshop family audience cannot be overestimated in supporting each solo singer in the process of making vocal discoveries and unearthing the bones of a raw, authentic language. New music is heard, edges are faced, and singers often touch a place in themselves that was formerly unknown, much to the delight and encouragement of the listening participants. Specific sonorities in the notes themselves are often the key to opening up this process. There may be a major vocal release, like a geyser shooting out hot water and steam, or it can be a slow lifting of the veil. A paradox as a subheading. This spontaneous flow of the voice may take singers by surprise, especially if it's not usual for them to sing freely in front of others. There is a paradox. As resistances are encountered, opportunities arise for more of the voice to emerge. The sounds may stumble, tighten, harden, it may tremble, break or disappear. There may be dullness or force. My voice may be held as a concept, a fantasy or an attachment. What does the singer do? It's a stopping point, or even a breaking point. But it can also be a new starting point, as this is only the edge of the unknown. Some parts of a more complete spectrum of the whole voice may only be found by crossing this unknown vocal bridge, where missing sounds are then found on the other side. As composer Philip Glass said, if you don't know what to do, there's actually a chance of doing something new. Right and wrong have already been redeemed in the first half of the workshop, so that is no longer an excuse for resistance or self-judgment. After that, the singer only has their sound, their voice, their life in its present state. As John Cage, the American composer, said, "The idea of a mistake is beside the point, for once anything happens, it authentically is." It may not all happen in one session, though a lot often does, but step by step, hidden layers of the voice, the person, and their music are uncovered. The process nearly always garners vivid, inspired, or intimate and vulnerable free singing. Over time, I began to feel it was a pity that not more people could hear this new music. Now, when you stand alone at the microphone in front of the group, the microphone is a symbolic icon of performance and can offer a challenge as well as support. It interrupts the safety of the workshop circle as the singer stands alone in front of the group to sing, some people's worst nightmare. Singers may find themselves welling up and shedding a tear, and then, with my support, singing through tears. All present in the room naturally help hold the emotions and the soundings with the singer by simply being there. As Billie Holiday said, "If I'm gonna sing like someone else, then I don't want to sing at all." Free of the composed songs of others, people aim towards their own honest music. Okay, subtitle, Grief Tending. Grief Tending. An example of the intensity of the process is when Sarah, not her real name, had just lost her brother. She stood shyly in front of the microphone. The backing track encouraged a musical starting point and spacious atmosphere. Her voice moved from within an unsettled silence, sounding rasping, short outbreaths, half-pitched tones, and then slowly to deeper in-breaths that slowly built up as she found herself singing in pitched and musically shaped cries. She unbound her grief in expansive, climbing phrases beyond her control, and yet she was guided by her own felt sense. Her burden of loss was relieved, and her sadness filled with darkly rich vocal timbres, full of melancholy and love. She found her vocal truth and power and sent it out to the group, her brother, and beyond. Eventually she returned to smaller expressions, recovering, stuttering sequences, and then a gentle, settling melody. She was silent. Her awareness expanded into a deeper sense of self, and stillness descended. By opening up herself and her voice, and to all present, she was able to come to some peace. The group were clearly moved, and the field in the room was palpable. These psychomusical states that people often find themselves in can bring them fully in touch with deeper truths within themselves, reflected naturally in their spontaneous singing. Honest music. I have seen that vocal Tai Chi can unearth the honestly improvised songs of people's lives. It unlocks a mix of creative performance and therapeutic outcomes and allows adult singers and so-called non-singers to create their music out of the box, unself-consciously, The work can help people across an unknown vocal bridge and can even become a rite of passage. The arrival on the other side is a time where the singer is met enthusiastically by the listening group who expand joyously in celebration of the singer's arrival and feel a part of her arrival. In bearing witness to an individual's right, all receive the gift of her journey. She becomes the catalyst. Audience catharsis arises. She finds her new voice, heals others in the room, and potentially even beyond the room, as well as herself. The integrative approach found in vocal Tai Chi was to be taken further in stage 5. I was itching to put the work in a public concert form. One day I clocked that conduction, which is conducting with signals, might be a way to do that. I called auditions for creative professional singers and formed a conduction choir. Okay, I see we've got 10 more minutes. I'm just going to read this last bit. Okay, this last bit is about the choir, and I'm reflecting on what's the difference between therapy and art in these situations. Because I was asked, the editor of the book asked me, when is it therapy and when is it art? And I was like, oh, that's a provocation. If ever there was one, I'm going to try and attend to it. So this section is called Boundaries. And the name of the choir is the Improvisers Choir, and its anagram is TIC, T-I-C. In a TIC pre-concert talk, Helen Miners, the editor of this book, asked me, when is it therapy and when is it art? Psychotherapy requires confidentiality and happens behind closed doors, full stop. But when therapy is involved in the arts, there is a potential for crossing over, in making something that it may be shared. But how does this question relate to my work? In vocal Tai Chi, workshop participants spend 2 hours together before improvising their naked solos. It is a private group, around 8 people, and it is safe to lose control for a moment, weep or roar, stutter, be confused, and fold that back into the music. There may be creative pain involved. A fluid relationship between the voice itself and a good understanding of the voice map and creativity can ultimately take the improvisation into a high level of free vocal music. Behind the closed door of vocal Tai Chi, art is there, so is therapy. In the public concerts with the choir, 30 to 100 people in the audience, there are no moments of outward overwhelm or confusion from the performers, but there is a parallel complexity similar to vocal Tai Chi. Consider conducting and singing from nothing with no song or no score in public in a small choir, 8 to 12 voices, is edgy work. No matter how experienced the singers, and in TIC they are experienced, there is a not knowing in the room as the performance starts. It's not unlike Joseph Campbell's hero's journey, although in the choir's cases there are multiple heroines and heroes living through it together, not just a single hero. And then Joseph Campbell describes it. A hero ventures forth from the world of common day into a region of supernatural wonder. Fabulous forces are there encountered, and a decisive victory is won. The hero comes back from his mysterious adventure with the power to bestow boons on his fellow man. Slightly old-fashioned language. It is a focused process as individual intentions and inventions are balanced with the sensitivity of being together in the group. As the sound worlds are built, fabulous forces may well be met. As in vocal Tai Chi, some creative pain is involved. One listener said it was a quest of the soul that she felt each singer was pursuing. Rather like Miles Davis said, "Don't play what's there, Play what's not there. The music is open to receive. Sometimes it loses its way, gets stuck, but that's part of encountering those fabulous forces. If met well, the music finds a way to include the lostness, singing in the dark, welcoming the unknown. Both in vocal Tai Chi and in the choirs project, art and therapy seem to have coalesced, and through their combined chemistry, a degree of awakening to a more vivid and holistic vocal consciousness seems to be possible. Thank you.
Oh, Jenny, thank you so much for that beautiful reading and for your work, for sharing some aspects of the vocal Tai Chi. I was getting kind of flashbacks actually to my session with you when you were reading your passage and talking about the girl that lost her brother, and it just kind of, I was kind of recalling my own journey of grief in a way, which is what I was kind of expressing. And thank you.